Let's go.
Oh my God, the quarterback is toast. Hit it again. Hit it again.
Let's go.
Hit it again. Hit it again. Oh my God, the quarterback is toast. Hit it again.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Niners Show. The First School Report. We're back. This time, we're talking defensive line. So we got a lot of good topics to discuss. We're going to project this defensive line and camp battles. So this is going to be a good one. Last week, we covered the offensive line, Mike, but today we're going to take a look at that D line and see what's going on. What's up, my brother?
What's up, Joe? I had to change some settings in here, so I hope I sound good. People in the comment section, let me know how I sound, because I thought last week I was way too loud. So I adjusted the mic volume. I moved it down 25%. So hopefully I'm not busting your eardrums if you got some ear pods on or something, because I felt like last show I was.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We're talking Dallas Cowboys football here, man. You know, Dallas Cowboys football in full effect. We're weeks away from camp. That's why we're breaking down these positional groups here as we head closer to training camp in Oxnard, California. You know, I wish I was in Oxnard right now, Mike. Texas is kicking my ass. It's about 300 degrees outside. All right. You put the silver, deflector on the windshield to try to deflect the heat. It does nothing. You put your hands on the steering wheel, you like melt your hands to the steering wheel. It's so hot over here. So hot. But we're almost there. We're almost to Oxnard. And we're going to talk about Cowboys defense today, Mike. So let's get into it, guys. First, I got to ask everybody in the chat box, how do you feel about this defensive line group as a whole? On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, how strong is that D line? Is it a 1, like real crappy? A 2, 3, 5? How do you feel about the D line, Mike?
I feel really good about this D line. Yeah, we lost Randy Gregory, right? Randy Gregory, he was inconsistent off the field suspensions, and his time being a Cowboy, his best sack production was a 6-sack season, right? Can Sam Williams come in here and get 7 sacks? If Sam Williams can come in here and get 7 sacks, Joe, we already replaced Randy Gregory with that, right? So it all depends on how Sam Williams does. Dante Fowler, if Dan Quinn can resurrect something out of this guy here. But I'm a solid – I'm with Stephen White. I'm a solid it was what Maxwell. I'm a solid 4.5, Joe.
That's good, bro. I'm right there too. I'm right at 4 myself. I think this D line is really good. I think they've gotten better, man, to be quite honest. But that's what we're going to talk about today. And I love this comment right here, right off the bat. Donnell Jenkins, appreciate you, bro. Good to see you in the chat box. I feel like they need to find their guy on the other side of Lawrence and not do a committee. Yes, bro, yes. The committee crap, whatever – positional group it is never works, right? Like wide receiver committee, you gotta have the guys, right? And I'm with you 100% here on defense. Who will that be? Will it be Sam Williams? Will it be Armstrong? That's really the guy, right? And Armstrong, Stephen Jones loves Armstrong for some reason. I don't know what's going on there, right? So. But let's get into it, man. Let's break down the current players on the defensive line. Okay, we're talking about edge and defensive tackles. So let's break it down, Mike. Let's take a look at this, and we'll break it down. We'll start at the top here, upper left column. Demarcus Lawrence, the GOAT, been here for a long time, Mike. A lot of us didn't think he'd be back. He restructured his contract and lowered the number, and wants to stay in Dallas with the Cowboys. So coming back here, the old GOAT here. How much tank does he have left?
Oh, Demarcus Lawrence. The last 3 years the guy's been injured. He just took a pay cut, an average of $10 million a year for the next 3 years. It was a massive pay cut, too. Let's not forget that pay cut Demarcus Lawrence took. It was a very team-friendly pay cut. When the guy's on the field, I mean, you've seen him against Tampa Bay week 1, stripping fumbles, causing mayhem in the running game. I know everybody likes to bring sack numbers up with this guy since he had his 14 sacks or whatever it was, what got him paid, right? But you look at the heart, you look at the hustle, you look at the running game specialty that Demarcus Lawrence brings. It's hard, Joe. It's hard to find that motor. Yes, he is beat up. Yes, a lot of his techniques require his back, and that's what's been failing him, i.e. Tyron Smith too, right? So I hope, if D-Law can stay healthy, I really think he's an 8-sack guy. I don't know if he's a double-digit guy anymore, but I guarantee you he can get you 8 sacks.
Perfect. I agree, man. I agree 100%, man. I think 8 is the opening line as well, and that's not bad, man. I think that's what he had like his early in his career. He hit the 8 mark, in sacks. So good player, man. A really solid player, like you said. Just really good to have him back, and he very team friendly. Moving on to the next one here, Mike. Dorance Armstrong. Cowboys extended him. He was a free agent. They extended him. Cowboys like to sign their own players. That's what they do. So they brought back Dorance Armstrong. They bumbled up the whole Randy Gregory deal. And we won't really talk much about that. But in doing that, they had to go out here and kind of rectify or salvage some kind of numbers, and we're talking about the sack numbers and kind of what Donnell Jenkins talked about is, this committee thing, who can we get away from the committee guys and just have the specialists that can be the sack master, right? Dorance Armstrong, Mike, I've never been impressed with him. I think he peaked early on in the season, in his career. I think he gave 5 sacks last season. But, he tends to disappear, man. He'll show up in one game, next game, where the hell was he? Did he even play? That's him. That's Dorance Armstrong, man. But, if you get a couple of 5-sack guys, that's not too bad. But I go back to what Donnell said. I want the other boss, man. I want the other, assassin, the other badass guy, right? And and we're not really talking about Micah Parsons in this group here because he's, technically he's a linebacker, but he is a pass rusher, so not really figuring him into this group here. We'll talk about him and linebackers, Mike. But what's your feeling? And everybody in the chat box, how do you feel about Dorance Armstrong? Is he just a guy? Do you think he'll get more than 5 sacks? Maybe. Like, what's your gut feeling on Dorance Armstrong?
Immediately when you said his name, I was thinking, okay, sack number. What can he give you? You said the magic number, Joe. I mean, it's like we're reading minds here. It was 5 for me. One thing that helped Dorance Armstrong, I know he had a better year this year, was Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is a disturbance to be reckoned with. So it frees up like guys like Dorance Armstrong who are going to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities, right? So Dorance Armstrong should be thanking Micah Parsons for those 5 sacks that he had because Micah Parsons' presence on the field got him that, right? And I think you'll see that. And I think he can get consistent with those 5 sacks. I don't know if he's any better than that. He's a big guy out of Kansas, though. But I don't know. He's been stale. All I need is a great front 4 and above average rotation. And I think Dorance Armstrong is at the average, above average. I think he's in the middle of that, Joe.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right there. Dante Fowler, the free agent acquisition this offseason, Mike. Obviously, there's ties there to Dan Quinn going all the way to Florida when Dan Quinn, brought him on, and has followed his career, coached him a little bit here briefly when they were together at Atlanta. So, bringing pieces that he's familiar with. Do you think that Dan Quinn can get a little bit more out of Dante Fowler? Could he be somebody that we could get a couple of sacks out of him, or maybe one of these reclamation projects, and he comes out and gives you 8 sacks? Like, what's your gut feeling on Dante Fowler's possible sack production here?
I think so. Dorance Armstrong having Micah Parsons is a big thing to Dorance Armstrong's success. I think having Dan Quinn is a big part of having Dante Fowler. Dan Quinn picked up Dante Fowler the year that he got fired with the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, he got fired, so he didn't really get to work with Fowler a lot. And so now that he's strictly a defensive coordinator that has high expectations going in, I think Dan Quinn can really invest a lot of time in getting Dante Fowler where he needs to play. Not where Cowboy fans want him to play, where Dan Quinn best sees fit for Fowler. And I think Dan Quinn can get that done for Fowler. His career, he hasn't lived up to that number 1 draft pick. What was he, like a top 10 pick a few years ago? He hasn't lived up to it. So I want to see what Dan Quinn does with Fowler before I project any sack total, because I have a feeling Dan Quinn might have something special for him. It's just hard for me to project.
It really is hard to project, right? Because it's like, is he going to show up, or does he even make the team? Some of these guys get a lot of name recognition and end up not even making the team. So I don't think it's a sure shot that he makes the team. But if he does, and he's able to give you some kind of pop somewhere, it could be anywhere from I don't know, 2 to 6 sacks. It's a wide range. So we'll see how that plays out. Mike, the one here that I think has a lot of people really excited is Sam Williams. NFL built body right out the gate. We saw him get worked out by Dan Quinn during the draft process, and immediately everybody fell in love with Sam Williams. And the Cowboys loved him. Dan Quinn loves him. And you see the traits there, right? And so when you're drafting outside the first round, these traits become very important to the team. So he definitely has the bend, definitely has a couple of moves in his pass rushing, attack. But I'm excited for Sam Williams here, Mike. I think he could be a guy that could really shine early. But what's your take on Sam Williams here? Do you think that has the possibility of leapfrogging some of the vets in front of him, like more snaps over Dante, over Armstrong, or these types of guys? What's your feeling on
Sam
Sam
he's definitely leapfrogging guys. Cowboys invested a 2nd-round pick in him. He's not going to be behind Dante Fowler. He's not going to be behind Dorance Armstrong. There's just absolutely no way. Absolutely no way. Sam Williams is going to be a day 1 starter. And that's why when I brought up Randy Gregory at the first of this show, that was the first name I called up was Sam Williams, because that's the pencil-in starter. Might as well use Sharpie, Joe, permanent marker. And another thing, with Dan Quinn, I said he has he's going to work Dante Fowler in here, but Sam Williams, it's natural raw talent with this guy. His motor. Everything about the guy I love. And, a rookie year, I don't think he's going to have Micah Parsons' numbers by any stretch of the means. But for Sam Williams, what I like about Sam Williams, I projected Lawrence 8 sacks. I give Sam Williams the same number at 8, Joe, for his rookie year.
That would be fantastic. On average, I did a video about this a couple years ago. Been doing this for a while now. Just crazy how fast time flies. But the average sack for a rookie in the NFL is like something like 3.5 to 5 sacks for a rookie season. So just imagine if you get that number, if you hit anything above 5 as a rookie, and 8 is very attainable, right? He's got that speed. And that's what I love about the Cowboys in this draft class. They keep adding speed, and you got to have it in this day and age of the NFL. If you don't have speed, you're not going to make it. And so I love what we've been seeing out of Sam Williams here in the rookie mini camp, the combined mini camps. So it should be good stuff from Sam Williams here, Mike. Very excited to see what he does for the Cowboys. Shout out to everybody in the chat box, man.
Yes.
Lots of great names out here. Appreciate you guys stopping in here. Make sure you guys pound that like button if you wouldn't mind. Mike, Chauncey Golston. Chauncey Golston, you're hearing that they're working him out in the inside just as much as the outside. So he kind of looks like what we talked about during the draft process, and we really do have to pat ourselves on the back because we said Chauncey Golston had the potential to be that Tyrone Crawford type of guy, right? And it looks like he's becoming that for the Cowboys, right? So adding weight, muscle, bulking up to really do that inside and outside type of flex for Chauncey Golston, man. I have a good feeling about Chauncey. I don't think he'll be a high sack number, but I think he'll be one of these pressure guys up the middle, play the run good, and just be kind of one of these guys that can be a nuisance for the defense. But what's your feeling on Chauncey as we get to camp here, Mike?
Yeah, he didn't look good at the start of the season last year, but he came on strong, Joe. He came on strong. You started seeing his number caught a lot. He looked like he was thinking too much, Joe. He was thinking way too much. And then you kind of seen the light turn on, and he was playing freely. Chauncey Golston, you called it, Joe. Props to you. Well, the man right here, Cowboys blog, all right? He should be right next to Will McClay scouting these boys because he hit it right on the head with Golston right here. A Tyrone Crawford 2.0, right? That's what we bring you here at the Frisco Report. Is the realness, truthness, and what it is, all right? And playing inside, playing outside, that's reliable depth. We know about Demarcus Lawrence's health history. We know how inconsistent Armstrong can be. Dante Fowler. We got a rookie there, Sam Williams, and we got Chauncey Golston right here, a rotational piece, Joe. Can he live up to that rotational piece? Do they stand him up? I kind of see a little bit of linebacker, but you said they're beefing him up. So let's see what he can do.
Yeah, that's going to be a good year 2 leap for him possibly. So I'm looking forward to that. Terrell Basham, Mike, he gives you a couple sacks here and there, but he's also one of these guys that tends to fade out, and you don't even know if he even played in the game. Was he even active on the roster? He's that type of guy, and that's what he was last year for the Cowboys. Cowboys liked him, during the draft process, the year that he came out of the draft, but ultimately got drafted by, I think it was the Jets or Colts or one of them guys, but didn't really stick, right? So, and there's going to be competition here for him. I think Terrell Basham, with the players that they brought in here, with Dante Fowler, Sam Williams, I think Basham is going to be in a deep battle here for his roster spot. What's your feeling on Terrell Basham here?
Yeah, he really didn't make a lot of noise except with his mouth. I thought he was just a talker. Really didn't bring nothing to the football game. You could tell he was a New York Jet for most of his career because just the way he played, he looked a little lazy to me. Really didn't surprise me. Didn't say, man, who's this guy, right? Really didn't pay attention to him during this offseason. I thought he was a 1-year contract. Come to find out he was a 2-year deal. I was kind of happy that I didn't see him on the re-sign list. Come to find out we signed him for 2 years. So he can potentially lose his job and get cut. I really do. But he does have that veteran presence at the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn like in the locker room. I think that scuffs them by, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody kicks them on by.
Yeah, for sure. Next one here, undrafted guy, Big Cat Bryant. Actually followed him very early in his career. Played at Auburn. Really had high draft projections. His freshman and sophomore year, and things just didn't end the way that he probably wanted them to, right? And ended up, kind of being an undrafted guy, Big Cat Bryant. But if Dan Quinn and this staff, Dan Quinn, Leon Lett, can harness some of that early talent that Big Cat Bryant exhibited there early in his collegiate career, you could have a diamond in the rough here. So one of my sleeper kind of guys here from a lot of these guys is Big Cat Bryant. I'm interested to see if the light turns back on to his early collegiate career, he could be something for the Cowboys. So we'll see what he does here. He'll probably get some work on the inside and outside as well. He's that kind of that type of body type. But a big man, a big young talent here that you might be able to see what you can get out of him. If anything, some of these guys that have a lesser name, might be battling more for the practice squad, type of areas. Mike, but do you have anything on Big Cat?
Yeah, I like his measurables: 6'5", 245. Right, if like you said, if the light can click on, I mean, he has the body type to wreak some havoc. I don't know. We'll see, but I do like 6'5", 245.
Yeah. Micah Tafua. I haven't watched him, so for me, I'll be watching him in camp. I'll be watching to see what he does. He's an undrafted player, and I think he's more of an inside guy, but really haven't looked at him much at all. So really, a guy I won't speak too much on, Mike. And I don't know if anybody has watched any tape on Micah Tafua. Have you checked him out, Mike?
First time I'm hearing his name. I've got to be honest.
Yeah. So camp body type of guy, right? But that's okay. These guys will definitely get their opportunities because the vets, when it comes to preseason, they're not going to play as much as these younger guys, and they can make a name for themselves on the roster. Practice squad, this sort of thing. Let's take a little bit look here on the second column, more of your defensive tackle guys here, man. This is the meat, the beef, the baconators. Here we go, baby. Neville Gallimore, Mike. This is a big year for Neville Gallimore, in my opinion. We're talking year 3. Neville Gallimore. This is, Bill Parcells, Tom Landry always said it. Year 3 is the year. If you don't see it in year 3, that's it. So Neville Gallimore, I need to see consistency. I need to see durability. All right, I got to see the durability. But if he hits all those marks, he could be somebody really, really dangerous. For the opposing teams, right? Like he could be that high, very fast. We remember his 40. He was like the fastest defensive tackle in that draft class when he came out. So, Mike, do you think Neville Gallimore has a good season coming up for him, or what's your take here on Gallimore coming up here?
I hope so. I liked his rookie year, I didn't like year 2 for Neville Gallimore. I thought he took a big reduction in production. All right, I wasn't happy with Neville Gallimore. He got pushed around the line a lot. I don't know. I know he had a shoulder surgery or a shoulder injury, of some sort, and I think he lost some type of confidence. Hopefully, he can get a fresh start here in year 3. But I did not. He was a disappointment to me. He really was.
Yeah. No, there's definitely no. You're definitely right, man. That arm, Cowboys. They don't say the full story. He was gone for a dislocated elbow. It was not a dislocated elbow.
Dislocated elbow. Thank you.
It was a shredded arm, tendon. Something really bad went there. You don't miss most of the season with a dislocated elbow. I'm sorry, you don't. But yeah, I'm hoping for big things for him. I think if he stays healthy, durable, especially with the guys around him, he can have a successful season. So I'm looking forward to him. The next guy, Mike, Osa Odighizuwa. This guy really has me excited, but I'm waiting to see because kind of like he's the classic story of a rookie that hit that rookie wall, right? Came out, guns blazing, like, hey, man, this guy looks pretty badass. Hits that rookie wall, and you kind of, didn't see much of him. His name didn't get called as much. The production, the plays and this sort of thing. So Osa Odighizuwa, however, I think that this could be the year for him, Mike. I think this could be the year putting in the time, getting stronger, faster. I'm pumped to see what he could do for us this year, Mike.
When I talk interior with other fan bases, particularly in the NFC East, this is one of the first names I bring up. Osa Odighizuwa, because I still think there's untapped potential, and I really think this guy can have a Pro Bowl year this year. We seen you said you kind of seen him fade away, but I seen him the last quarter of the season and a little bit in that playoff game. I seen him make some noise where I'm like, this guy's a rookie. This guy's a rookie, right? And throughout the season too, I'm really pumped about Osa Odighizuwa, Joe. I really am.
Yeah, and a lot of fans are too. A lot of our fellow content creators are high on him. I think the fan base is pretty high on him. I think he has that potential to be that Jason Hatcher type of guy. Same body build. They have him playing the right position right off the gate. Unlike Jason Hatcher a couple years ago, took him a while to finally put him in the 3-tech where he could thrive, and then his contract finished. So I'm hoping Osa can hit that mark, can show, the progression where he could, potentially be a high sack guy. So I'm looking forward to that. The next one here, Mike, Tristan Hill, the bust of busts, the second round bust. I think it's safe to say that he's kind of a second round bust, man. Right? I hate to say it, but we're just not seeing anything from him, man. You're not getting any production. You just see small flashes here and there, but nothing over weeks of consistency. He kind of misses time. What's your take on Tristan Hill? Does he even make this team, Mike?
I don't think he makes it. I really don't. When Amari Cooper and all that stuff happened, there was concerns with other GMs that Amari Cooper's not passionate about football. And I haven't got reports or anything. I've met Tristan Hill in person his rookie year. I don't think he loves football, Joe. I really don't. There's not a motive. There's not a motivational bone in his body. You looked at Hard Knocks. I met him in person. I've seen him at training camp. You see him in preseason. I don't see anything that motivates him to want to go out there and go be a dog, go be a lineman, go maul people around. I don't see that passion. I don't think he likes football, Joe. The passion to me is not there, and that passion deteriorating shows on that football field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's going to be a huge upfield battle for him. Oh, let's trade him. Nobody's going to trade for him.
No one's going to trade for him.
No, nobody's going to trade for him. Yeah, I mean, you're just not going to get anything from him. I'll be shocked if he makes the team myself. However, this next player I think has pretty good potential. John Ridgeway, Mike, the big white behemoth. He's a big white boy, right? I mean, if you can get you one of these big white boys as a defensive tackle, that's good, man, because the ones that have been like that have been productive for years. Kyle Williams, not as tall as John Ridgeway, but he's that type of guy, man. To me, Kyle Williams in the league for a long time, very productive, very durable. If John Ridgeway could be this type of guy for the Cowboys, I think we're in business, bro. So John Ridgeway definitely, making some moves here in mini camps and throughout this offseason with the Cowboys. What's your feeling on John Ridgeway's impact on the roster here, Mike?
This is a guy that loves football. You look at John Ridgeway, you look at the attitude, you look at what he brings, you look at how he mulls people over. He don't stop. He's hungry. He's almost like he's a bigger baconator of Micah Parsons on that defensive line, I feel like, right? I can't wait to see what he does. I hope I really hope the spotlights ain't too big for him. But what he showed me in college, I'm ready to see it in the NFL, Joe.
Yeah. No, it's true, man. It's true. I think the Cowboys got him in the right area for him to last there to the 5th round. Very good for the Cowboys. So we're looking forward to him. I think that he's definitely one of the guys that's probably going to unseat Tristan Hill. He's going to take away those snaps, and that's why I really don't. I don't even know if Tristan makes the team just based on what they have, including in that name in those names, Mike Carlos Watkins. You know what I mean? I have to give Carlos Watkins all the props in the world because I really didn't think he was going to be anything. As a free agent from the Texans, I was like, oh man, I don't know about this guy. Man, he really got me on the Carlos Watkins bandwagon, if you want to call it that. I'm a fan of Carlos Watkins. Coming out of Clemson, pretty solid program. Coming here with the Cowboys, and a pretty good rotational guy, Mike. So what's your feeling on Carlos Watkins' impact on this defense?
No, I like it. I like it. Carlos Watkins, I didn't know who he was. I had to turn on some stuff. I know when we got Terrell McClain from the Houston Texans, I thought Terrell McClain was a really good fit for us there in that middle.
Yeah.
Carlos Watkins almost I think I said it on the Frisco report, Carlos Watkins kind of reminds me of a Terrell McClain. But I liked what he brought. I think he got a pick 6 to the house, Joe, at one point in this season. But that's another guy that loves football and is a good rotational piece, right? You need average or above average. Anywhere in between that, that's where Carlos Watkins is at, and that's what we need as a rotational piece on this defensive line.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very good stuff here. Quinton Bohanna, year 2. What has he been doing in the offseason is my question. Has he improved? Has he gotten into a good conditioning, a good strength program? What has he done to improve, to elevate his play for year 2, right? Kind of one of those players that the Cowboys inserted him early in the season, and then he kind of just disappeared and got deactivated a couple times here towards the end of the year, Mike. So not sure about him. I think that's a big question mark for me. He's probably one of those bubble players for me personally, but I'm pulling for him because he's another one of these big, beefy type of guys that we need to help stuff the run and kind of collapse the pocket. What's your feeling on Quinton Bohanna here as we head towards camp?
Yeah, I can't wait to see what he looks like in an NFL offseason. I think he struggled a lot. I thought he got a little stage fright because the dude's a beast, right? The dude's huge. He's a baconator. He has a lot more power than I feel like he thinks he knows that he has, right? I can't wait to see him, though. And my eyes are definitely going to be on him because he was that baconator that we were screaming for, Joe. And I hope it pans out for him, and I hope he has a really good career. But I still think he makes the team. But I really feel like he's the wake up.
Yeah. That's. I think that's going to be the tell for him. Did he do what what's kind of expected from young NFL players is what do you do between year 1 and year 2? Are you just going to ride the laurels and kind of hope that your physical talent carries you, or do you put in the extra work, and really go for it? You know what I mean? And I think that's where Quinton Bohanna is here. Camp battle for him, I think, is going to be, he could be battling for some of those final defensive tackle positions, and we're kind of stacked here. Defensive tackle. If you look at it, we know Gallimore's in, we know Osa's in. Tristan probably not. Ridgeway probably. Watkins probably. That's 4 at least. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Do they carry a 5th defensive tackle? Normally, they don't carry more than, than the 4. So, slim pickings here. But, if he makes some noise here, you never know. You never know. Austin Fowler, a year 2 guy for the Cowboys. I thought he had an okay, preseason, for the Cowboys last year. Kind of a bigger guy, but didn't do enough to really make the roster. So giving him another look this year, Mike. Really, just your, it sounds cliche, but more of a camp body, but you're pulling for him, right? Do you have anything on Austin, Mike?
I don't, Joe. I don't. Gonna
Yeah.
be watching him though.
Yeah. Same thing here for the final guy, Josiah Bronson. This is an undrafted rookie as well. So this is another guy. We'll see. If he makes some noise here, can he do more than some of the guys that we have mentioned here early in the show? But the Cowboys defensive line is very deep right now. You've got good edge guys. You've got your Chauncey Golston type of players that can go on the inside and outside. You have your defensive tackle specialist with Gallimore, Odighizuwa, and then your rotational guys that can make some noise like Ridgeway, Watkins, and these guys. So, Mike, overall, I know you said it was a 4.5 out of 5 on the defensive line. I think that's fair assessment for what we have here, and good work indeed. Everybody in the chat box. How do you feel about these defensive tackles here? Do you feel that the depth is good, or do you still need to get better?
Ooh, is your front four good, and are your starters good? Is your front four great, and is your backups good? That's what Joe's asking you. The answer is yes and yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think we're done. We can go into this training camp with high expectations. If your answer is no on any of those, I can understand that too.
Yeah, no, for real. That's real. You definitely. We have Ryan Doyle here saying that I see a bunch of Dante Poes, so he's probably on the other spectrum here where he doesn't feel too good about it, right? Because Dante Poe was not good for the Cowboys at all. So let's hope that we don't have that on this team. I don't think we do. There's definitely some on here that probably are. Honestly, Tristan Hill definitely comes to mind on that there.
Tristan Hill, that's a fact.
Let's see, Mario Flores. You have that one guy at DT. It's fine, but not great. Yeah, I think there's definitely room for improvement there. And what's crazy is, and I'm kind of draft guy, right? So I'm always looking ahead. This 2023 draft class for defensive tackles is pretty nice. It's going to be nice because you can get a defensive tackle at the top of the top 10 who's going to be mauling people. You've got some that'll be in the mid first, and even some that you might be able to grab at that bottom of the first. So 2023 defensive tackle class, if you don't see it from Neville this year, because it's year 3, like I said, you can start to continue to improve if you want. The only thing is, Cowboys don't take defensive tackles early. That's the only thing.
It sounds like Mario was trying to say Cowboys don't have that guy.
Yeah.
He's saying that the position's average, but it's not great.
Yeah.
The Cowboys don't have that guy. He just cleared it up in the comment section.
Gerald Beasley, Terrell Basham could be on the bubble. Definitely agree with you there, Gerald Beasley. I think the competition is going to be very stiff for Terrell to make it. But he might sneak on there. You know what I mean? He maybe they go a little deeper on the edge. If they don't feel quite good about this defensive tackle group, maybe they go a little deeper on end here, and maybe Basham sneaks in there. But yeah, I'm with you. I think he is a bubble player. I think they definitely want somebody to push him off, right? Whether that's a Big Cat or one of these other defensive tackles steps up and can be another roster spot. So
let me ask you a question, Joe.
Yeah.
Looking at what we just talked about, and let's say everybody's healthy, everybody makes it out of training camp, and they start making cuts, and 31 other teams start making cuts. Is there a possibility that a guy like Quentin Bohanna or Carlos Watkins, right? These guys, is there a chance they could get replaced with somebody else that gets cut on another team, Joe?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a possibility, right? That's definitely a possibility. The roster business is a 365-day-year job, right, for Will McClay. So yeah, there'll definitely be cuts. And you never know. Maybe the Cowboys do make one of these Robert Quinn type of trades where they look at the landscape, they see what they have, they see what's available out there and say, hey, we'll give you a 5th-round pick for this guy here. Not necessarily Robert Quinn, because I know he's kind of been rumored here with the Cowboys to come back or whatever via a trade again, which I personally don't think will happen. Now, if he gets cut though, then maybe you could definitely talk to me about that.
You gotta remember too, Cowboys stayed quiet this time last year, and then they signed Malik Hooker the first week of training camp, right? So I kind of see something like that happening too.
Oh yeah, and it's definitely a great question because it could. If one of these guys opens up and becomes available, and then even if one of these guys is kind of banged up right now, gets a little bit more healthy, maybe they bring him on. Not even necessarily defense, but maybe like one of these receivers that that are talked about. They might go that route. So definitely going to be one of these off seasons. You see some of the names here. Talking about Sue. I don't think that'll happen either. But it's just one of those names that gets talked about, right? Name recognition is always a thing here with the fan base, with any NFL fan base. Name recognition. Oh, let's get this guy. Let's get this guy.
Oh yeah, Ronald McDonald can get cut from McDonald's, and Cowboys are gonna want to sign him.
Let's get Julio Jones, who hasn't done shit in the last 2 years, but let's get him. That kind of thing. You know what I mean? Osa the wrestler. I love this, man. Stephen White. I love this comment. I meant to show you on the screen earlier, but yeah, man, that wrestler background goes a long way because can work the hands, leverage. Year or 2 of that plus strengthening. Thumbs up, man. I'm really excited for Osa, and we'll see what happens there, man. But great work here, Mike, covering the defensive line. Next show, guys, we'll go back to offense. We'll probably look at we'll probably take a look at your wide receivers and tight ends for the next show. We'll break that down. Who's in the running, who's on the bubble. And who might be a gem for us, Mike. But Mike, appreciate you as usual. Everybody in the chat box, appreciate you guys. Mike, where can everybody find you if they haven't already, bro?
Yeah, for sure. And remember, guys, don't miss that show because you really get to hear what I think about Simi Fehoko. So don't miss it. Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube _ Cowboys Corner on Twitter, guys. I follow back. Subscribe, leave a comment. Off-season videos are about to be in full effect on the Cowboy Corners channel. This is my off-season. Cowboys get a break. Why not I get a break? And this is the I think season, so you're not going to get a lot of videos from me during this time of year. I do that right here on the Frisco Report. I think, right? I don't want to think all the time and I get a headache, Joe.
That's what it is. But some thinking is better than other thinking. So that's one thing that we do need to remind people. And we have the good ones here, guys. My co-host is great, man. Appreciate Mike as usual. Great work, my brother. Chat box, guys. Everybody in the chat box, appreciate you. We see a lot of the names, some new names here. Hit that like button on your way out, guys. And we'll see you next time for the Frisco Report. Peace out, everybody.
On one side.